When I first heard on the news that a plane took off with some windows missing, and this was only discovered after reaching quite a substantial altitude already, this got me wondering, how could that possibly happen? How could nobody have noticed windows missing before a plane takes off? And then how did the windows end up missing in the first place? I totally forgot about it for a while, and then an AAIB report came into my inbox which explained that photography, or rather videography, was involved in this incident. So first of all, let me describe briefly what happened. The aircraft involved was an Airbus A321 registered in the United Kingdom with the registration GOATW. Now, a quick search on Flight Radar would reveal that this aircraft belongs to Titan Airways. It was manufactured in 2020, so it's not that old. As it turned out, this aircraft was involved in some chartered activity, and it was just repositioning itself from Stansted in London to Orlando in Florida. During the flight, there were no paid passengers on board, but there were 9 members of staff, either of the airline, the aircraft, or the tour operator. So the takeoff was operationally normal, but then some of the passengers later recalled that they found it more noisy and colder than usual. So the loadmaster walked towards the back of the aircraft with the noise getting louder and louder until he noticed one of the windows were missing. Luckily, the aircraft managed to land safely because the windows were actually missing from takeoff. There wasn't any explosive decompression as the air was constantly leaking out of the window as the pressure inside the aircraft and outside changes as the aircraft goes higher and higher. So what caused these windows to go missing? So apparently the aircraft had been involved in some filming the day before, and in order to get the effect that the director wanted, which was a sunset effect, some lights, some really powerful lights placed on the outside of the aircraft so that the lights would come through the windows. I'll put up on screen now some photographs of the floodlights which were placed around the aircraft. They were positioned as shown in this diagram. So the lights were turned on for about 5.5 hours on the left side of the plane and about 4 hours on the right side of the plane. Now this caused the aircraft to heat up so much that the components that hold the window panes into the structure of the airframe actually started to get really hot, melted and distorted. The area around the windows themselves got so hot that the window panels deformed and no longer fit into the window frame, so they just fell out. It's interesting to note that this particular aircraft was painted in a very dark color, very close to black. If you ever wondered why aircraft are painted white or light colors, well, now you know why. So that's one lesson. The other lesson is that people frequently fail to appreciate just how powerful the lights that are used in like studios and entertainment venues are. Photographers will know only too well that despite all of the advances in sensor technology in the last few years, you still need quite a lot of light in order to take a decent photograph. So I work with lasers, and most people know and treat lasers with respect because they're really popular in movies where they're showing cutting things and destroying things. That isn't the case with powerful lights. I haven't seen any films where things have been melted or destroyed just by normal lights. In fact, the regulations in this country that cover lasers also cover any artificially created optical radiation. So that would include lasers and would also include very powerful lights. The amount of energy that a normal light can transmit from the light source to an object is very, very understood. Is less well understood. Having said that, I think someone could have checked the aircraft after the filming, or anything that is really unusual in the operation of an aircraft. After it's done, you should probably check the aircraft again before it's allowed to fly. So that's all I have to say about this for now. We can laugh at it because no one was hurt, no one was injured, but this could have ended in a completely different way. So be safe, everybody.